Hi, this is Courtney with GrayLaw TV, and today we're going to talk about the tourist visa interview at the consulate, the B1, B2 interview. When you have a consular appointment, I recommend that you arrive a little bit early so you can figure out where to go, and there's usually a little bit of a line, and then they'll call you up to the window. It's sort of like for most consulates, it's a bank of windows like at a bank, and so you'll walk up to the window and the officer will ask you a series of questions. Now the questions that they ask you will vary depending on the consulate, and it will also vary depending on the officer. Every officer has their own individual style. Typically the questions they ask you are the same, 8 to 10 questions. So when it's your turn, walk up to the window. The best advice I can give you is to be calm, to be confident, to be personable, to make eye contact, to try not to get flustered with anything that they ask you, and to just be yourself, and I think you'll be just fine. The first thing they'll ask you is, may I see your passport? Can I have your passport? Something like that. The way to answer that question is to give them your passport and to speak to them. I know that sounds crazy, but a lot of people will just sort of hand them their passport and look really scared, or they'll start fumbling for their passport, and for an officer that's got a line of 25 people waiting, that's very annoying. So be prepared with your passport and say, here you go, or sure, here it is, something like that, so that you've started the conversation with them. The second question that they'll ask you is, how long do you intend to stay? It's short, sweet, simple answer. 2 weeks, 1 week, 3 weeks, 2 months, whatever the case may be. Make sure it's within your validity period of stay, okay? And also make sure that it's that you have a return ticket to reflect that, or your flight itinerary reflects that. If you have a return ticket for 3 months from now and you're telling them that you're going to return in 2 weeks, just not going to add up for them. Question 3, what is the purpose of your visit? Are you visiting for business or for pleasure? Okay, so if you're visiting for business, there's certain rules that go along with that. We have another YouTube segment about that, so make sure you check that out. But basically, if you're here for business, you can't work for a US company, you can't be employed, you can come for meetings, you can come to play in a golf tournament, there's all sorts of rules there, so make sure you check out that segment to figure out exactly what that is. If you're coming for pleasure, and I'm coming for vacation, I'm going to Disneyland, I'm going to the Grand Canyon, whatever the case may be. If you answer that you are visiting friends, you're going to get into a bit of a tricky situation, because the big part of the tourist visa is that you intend to go home, okay? And if they get anything that sounds to them like you might not intend to go home, they're gonna start asking you a lot of questions and they might deny your visa. So if you're visiting friends, what they're going to start asking you, what they're going to try and start getting at is that friend a boyfriend or a girlfriend, and do you plan on staying and marrying them? Okay, that's what they're trying to get at. So if you're coming to visit with friends, I'm sure I'm coming to stay with college friends, or I'm coming to, I'm traveling with my boyfriend and we're going to visit our friends. Any way you can alleviate that if you can. I mean, if that's if that's what your actual facts are, what's going on with in your life. Oh, I'm coming to stay with some of my mom's friends that she went to college with, or I've never met them before, or I met some people online, or whatever the case may be. I'm going to an Airbnb, so that they know that you're not just saying that you're coming in on a tourist visa so that you can get married. If your boyfriend or your girlfriend is in the United States and that's your reality, then when they get there, I would be totally honest. Yeah, I'm coming to visit my girlfriend. And they'll say, well, how serious are you? Or they might, get a little bit personal. So you can say, we visit each other back and forth. She hasn't even met my mom yet. Like, we're not there at all. If it gets there, we're long distance. If it gets there, we'll have to decide if we're gonna live here or there. I don't know. We're not even talking about that. We're just hanging out, If you do plan on coming in and getting married, and you tell them that, they will deny your visa. Okay, so if that's your plan, you might want to come up with a different plan. You might want to look into the fiancé visa. You might want to look into filing an immigrant petition. If you come to visit your boyfriend or girlfriend and you decide once you're here that you can't stand to be separated anymore and you do want to get married, that's fine, okay? But your intent when you enter is to go back home, okay? And make sure you tell them that when they ask you. What do you do? What's your occupation? They might follow up with, where do you work? And you give them the name of your employer. If you are unemployed, that can get tricky as well because they might think you're coming in to look for a job and you plan to stay. So, you know, I'm between jobs, but I start my next job in 2 weeks, so I'm taking this vacation. Anything you can do to alleviate their mind in terms of your employment and that you plan to go. I'm enrolled in school, or I have this job, or whatever the case may be. Let them know so that they're aware that you're not just coming in to look for employment and stay here. Are you traveling alone is the next question. If you are traveling by yourself, easy answer. Yeah, I'm traveling alone. That's it. You can move on. Great, done. If you're traveling with other people, say, oh yeah, I'm traveling with my mom, or I'm traveling with my family, I'm traveling with my boyfriend, whoever you're traveling with. They might have some more follow-up questions, particularly if they're not there with you. They expect that if you're traveling, you're going to be in a group with that person, okay? Or I'm traveling to meet my boyfriend who goes to school out there, or, you know, whatever the case is for you. Do you have family in the US? If the answer is no, yay, you're done. You can move on to the next question. If the answer is yes, this can also get a little tricky and there will be some follow-up questions. So they want to know immediate or slightly removed family, grandparents, parents, kids, siblings, aunt, uncle, cousins. They want to know those type of folks. So if you have, if the answer to the question is yes, and you have a cousin living in Nebraska, but you're going to New York City, it's not a big deal, right? I'm going to check out the Statue of Liberty, and yeah, I have a cousin who lives in Nebraska. I'm not even visiting them. I mean, that's fine. I mean, I don't see that they're going to have a lot of questions there. But if your parents and your sister already live in the United States and nobody's, you know, at home anymore, they might have some more questions. They might think that you're gonna go stay with them or stay in the United States. So yeah, I've been traveling back and forth. I visit them. You know, if you're in the process of filing an immigrant petition, you know, to eventually get a green card, you can say, yeah, we're going through that process, but it takes 10 years. In the meantime, I visit them once a year, and they can see that history of you coming in and leaving. Okay, so that can be very helpful as well. Have you been in the US before? If the answer is no, perfect. You're done. If the answer is yes, tell them when, and tell them, you know, yeah, I came to visit when I was a kid with my parents, or yeah, I went there for college, or, you know, just be absolutely honest about it because they can see it. If the answer is yes, I was there for 6 months, I came back 2 weeks ago, and now I'm trying to come back in for another 6 months, you might have a problem, okay? It's just common sense. They want to make sure that you're not trying to live in the United States, that you have no intention of living in the United States. Whatever you can do to help them get to that conclusion that you're just visiting, the better. Where will you be staying? If you're staying in a hotel and you have like your itinerary, or you have your, you know, something from the hotel showing that you're staying there, you're in pretty good shape. If you are staying with family, you should have already at this point told them that you have family there, and it's not going to be a surprise to them that you're staying with your aunt or your sister. Your sister goes to college there and you're visiting her, or whatever the case may be. This is another area where you can get into the boyfriend-girlfriend thing. Okay, so just make sure, you know, oh yeah, I'm staying with friends. Oh, well, who are these friends? How long have you known? How did you meet these friends? Are you intimately involved with any of these friends? Again, you know, if you can alleviate that and cut that out before they even get to it, great. I wouldn't go into long, lengthy explanations without being asked, because that can seem a little suspicious. But oh yeah, my sister has friends. My sister went to college in the States. She has friends there. They said I could stay. So that they know it's not anybody that you really know. That's, you know, that would alleviate that if that's the case. If you are staying with your girlfriend and they ask you that directly, yeah, I'm staying with my girlfriend. And then you'll have to get into how you are not planning on popping the question and getting married at this point. So again, the best thing I can tell you is to keep your answers short and sweet. Only answer what they've asked you. There's no reason to elaborate or to go into lots of information. They have a long queue. They're just trying to make sure that you tick all the boxes. Try not to be nervous. I mean, granted, they're used to nerves. They see nerves all the time. But if you're really jittery and antsy, that can be a red flag for them. Make sure that you look them in the eye and that you're confident, and that you know, you've thought about all these things before and nothing is surprising to you. You've watched this video, you're good to go. So take a deep breath. Make sure you watch our other videos on B1s and B2s. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching GrayLaw TV.